Okay, let's jump straight into this deep dive. We're looking at excerpts from Deuteronomy chapter 23 today.
Right. And it's quite a mix, isn't it? A really fascinating collection of instructions for the ancient Israelite community.
Absolutely. Everything from, who's allowed into the main assembly to rules about camp hygiene that are surprisingly well detailed.
It really maps out the boundaries, the identity, the sense of holiness for them. You see the sacred and the social and the very practical all woven together.
You mentioned who could join the assembly. Those rules near the start are pretty specific. There's physical status, but then exclusions for certain groups,
Yeah.
like Ammonites and Moabites.
Exactly. And what's striking is the reason given for excluding Ammonites and Moabites for 10 whole generations.
Ah, right. It's historical, isn't it?
Directly historical. It says because they didn't offer food and water when Israel came out of Egypt, and crucially because they hired Balaam to curse them.
So past actions, specific events are shaping who belongs generations later. That's quite something.
It really is. Historical memory becomes a key part of defining the community.
But then, almost immediately, it makes a distinction. It says don't exclude Edomites or Egyptians in the same way. After the third generation, they can join. What's going on there?
Well, it shows it's not just a simple us versus them. Edom is called a brother nation, remember?
Ah, right, kinship ties.
Exactly. And with Egypt, well, Israel lived there as aliens. So there's this complex history. It suggests shared background or maybe perceived kinship could create a different path, allow for integration eventually.
So these rules are really actively shaping who we are by defining they, but it's nuanced based on history.
Precisely. It's a dynamic process reflected in the law.
Okay, shifting gears quite a bit now. The chapter also gets incredibly down to earth about camp life, especially like military camp situations, sanitation rules.
Yes, and you might find it, well, surprisingly specific. There's the rule about someone becoming ritually unclean, maybe from a nocturnal emission.
Right, they had to leave the camp.
Leave the camp, cleanse themselves, and can only come back after sunset. But even more basic, just dealing with human waste.
The part about having a spade, digging a hole outside the camp, covering it up, seems like sensible hygiene advice.
It absolutely is sensible, but the text gives this profound reason, lifting it beyond just, preventing smells or disease.
What's the reason given?
It says, and this is key, for the Lord your God moves about in your camp. Your camp must be holy, so that he will not see among you anything indecent and turn away from you.
Wow. So it's not just practical. The physical cleanliness of the camp, keeping it decent, is tied directly to maintaining a space where God can be present.
Exactly that. It connects physical order and cleanliness with communal holiness. The sacred isn't just in a temple. It's right there in the middle of the camp, affecting daily routines.
That really broadens the idea of what holy means. And the chapter keeps going, covering so much ground, like the rule about not returning an escaped slave to their master.
Yes, that's quite remarkable for its time. Offering refuge, letting them live freely within the community, basically overriding property claims in favor of, well, sanctuary.
It sets a standard for protection within their own community.
It does. Then you have rules about not bringing tainted money, like earnings from shrine prostitution to fulfill a vow.
Yeah.
Economic ethics again.
And speaking of economics, the rules about interest are interesting too. No interest charged to a fellow Israelite, a brother.
Right, but it seems you could charge interest to a foreigner.
So it suggests maybe an internal system based more on mutual support. Different rules inside the community versus outside.
That seems to be the implication, yes.
Yeah.
Distinguishing internal economic relationships.
And then there are even these small neighborly conduct rules.
Yeah.
Like walking through someone's vineyard or field.
Ah, yes, you can eat grapes or grain on the spot, right? Pluck it by hand.
Yeah, what you need right there. But you can't, fill up a basket or bring out a sickle to harvest properly.
It's a lovely little picture, isn't it? Balancing generosity, allowing someone to satisfy immediate hunger with respect for the owner's property. Shows the kind of expected community behavior.
So just in this one chapter, wow, we've got assembly membership tied to national memory, camp hygiene linked to divine presence, rules on refuge, economics, vows, even how you behave walking through a neighbor's field.
It's an incredibly rich snapshot. It shows a worldview where, well, everything seems connected. Religious identity, relationship with God, it permeates all these practical aspects of life together.
So when you put it all together, the social inclusion rules, the focus on physical cleanliness, the economic fairness, the neighborly stuff, all under this umbrella of God's presence and expectations.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mix tell you about how they saw the sacred intersecting with the nitty-gritty details of just living everyday life. Something for you, the listener, to think about.